A waitress witnessed two menacing men approach a little girl in the diner where she worked. Acting purely on instinct, she swiftly hid the child and locked the door behind them. Unbeknownst to her, the girl's father was none other than the city's most feared mafia kingpin. When he located them together, his daughter, who hadn't spoken in 3 years, found her voice for the first time, pleading with him not to harm the woman who had protected her. The delicious aroma of garlic butter mingled with the scent of fresh basil hung heavy in the air at Marino's, a popular seafood restaurant that jutted out over the Santa Monica Pier. Anna Mitchell wiped down table 7 for what felt like the millionth time that evening, her feet aching inside her worn sneakers, which desperately needed to be replaced. Friday nights were always a whirlwind of activity, a blend of tourists and locals, the sound of waves crashing below barely audible over the din of clattering plates and boisterous laughter. Anna, table 12 needs water. Marco, the head waiter, bellowed from across the bustling dining room. She grabbed a pitcher of water and weaved her way through the crowded space, her mind already calculating the night's potential tips. $300. That was the magic number she needed to cover her mother's prescription refill and the past-due electric bill. Her phone vibrated in her apron pocket. It was probably another text from the hospital about her mom's upcoming treatment. She'd check it later. As Anna filled the glasses at table 12, her eyes couldn't help but drift to the corner booth, situated near the kitchen entrance. A little girl sat there alone, maybe 7 or 8 years old, with dark, curly hair and a white dress that looked far too extravagant for a casual dinner. The child's hands were clasped tightly in her lap, her gaze fixed intently on the tablecloth. Something about her stillness seemed off, like a bird with clipped wings unable to fly. Anna frowned, concern creasing her forehead. Where were her parents? She finished up with table 12 and made her way over to the girl's booth. "Hey, sweetie, are you waiting for someone?" The child's eyes flicked up briefly, deep brown, almost black, before returning to their study of the table. She didn't utter a word. "Are you hungry? I can bring you some bread while you wait." Still nothing. But Anna noticed that the girl's shoulders were trembling slightly. Before she could say anything else, the restaurant's front door burst open. 2 men strode in, and Anna's instincts immediately sounded an alarm. They weren't dressed like typical diners, clad instead in dark jeans and leather jackets, despite the warm evening, and their faces bore the hard lines of violence. Their eyes scanned the room with a predatory precision before settling on the corner booth. On the little girl. Anna's heart began to race. The men moved through the restaurant with a clear purpose, weaving between the tables with practiced ease. Other diners seemed to sense that something was amiss, their conversations faltering as the men passed by. Marco caught Anna's eye from across the room, his expression a silent question mark. The taller of the 2 men reached the booth first. He leaned down, his voice low but still audible. "Time to go, princess. Your father's waiting." The girl's entire body tensed up. Her small hands gripped the edge of the table so tightly that her knuckles turned white. "Come on now," the second man growled, reaching for her arm. "Don't make this difficult." That's when Anna saw it. The gun, barely concealed beneath the first man's jacket. And the look in the little girl's eyes wasn't just fear. It was pure, unadulterated terror. Every rational thought in Anna's mind told her to walk away. Call the police. Let someone else handle it. She was just a waitress trying to make ends meet, not some kind of superhero. But when she looked at that child, she saw herself at 8 years old, powerless, scared, and all alone when her father had walked out of her life and never come back. Her body moved before her brain could fully process what was happening. "Excuse me," Anna said loudly, stepping between the men and the booth. "Is there a problem here?" The tall man's eyes narrowed, his gaze hardening. "Back off, lady. This doesn't concern you. She's at my table. That makes it my concern." Anna's voice was steadier than she felt, her heart pounding against her ribs like a trapped bird. "Move," the second man hissed, his hand sliding further inside his jacket. The restaurant had fallen silent now. Forks hung suspended mid-air. Conversations died. Even the sounds coming from the kitchen seemed to fade into the background. Anna didn't move. Instead, She looked directly at the little girl. "Do you want to go with these men?" The child's lips trembled. She shook her head, just barely, but unmistakably. That tiny gesture sealed everything. "Then she's not going anywhere," Anna said firmly, her voice unwavering. The tall man's face darkened with anger. "You have no idea what you're doing." "Maybe not, but I know a scared kid when I see one." Time seemed to slow to a crawl. The second man's hand emerged from his jacket, not with a gun, but reaching for the girl. Anna reacted on pure instinct. She grabbed the child's hand and pulled her from the booth, shielding her with her own body. "Marco, call 911. Anna shouted, her voice cutting through the sudden tension. Chaos erupted. The first man lunged forward, trying to grab the girl. Anna stumbled backward, the little girl clutching her waist for dear life. Other diners screamed in fear. Someone knocked over a table, sending dishes crashing to the floor. Marco was yelling into the phone, trying to relay their location. The kitchen door was only 10 feet away if she could just make it. Then the front windows exploded inward in a shower of glass. Gunshots rang out. 3 rapid cracks that turned the restaurant into a war zone. Customers dropped to the floor, seeking cover from the flying debris. Glass rained down like deadly confetti. Anna didn't think. She ran, dragging the child toward the kitchen, her body curved protectively over the small frame. They burst through the swinging door, narrowly avoiding a collision with a busboy carrying a tray of dirty dishes. Anna's mind raced, searching for an escape route. The back exit was blocked by stacks of storage boxes. The office was too exposed, with windows facing the street. Then she saw it. The walk-in pantry. "In here, quick," she said, pulling the girl inside the narrow space, surrounded by shelves of canned goods and boxes of dry pasta. She slammed the door shut and twisted the lock, her hands shaking so badly that she nearly couldn't manage it. Outside, more gunshots echoed through the restaurant, followed by shouting. The sound of heavy boots running back and forth. Sirens wailed in the distance, but they sounded impossibly far away. In the darkness of the pantry, Anna sank to the floor, pulling the trembling child into her arms. The girl buried her face in Anna's shoulder, silent tears soaking through Anna's uniform. "It's okay," Anna whispered, though nothing about this was okay. "You're safe now. I've got you." The child's fingers dug into Anna's back, as if she was drowning and Anna was the only thing keeping her afloat. Through the pantry door, Anna heard new voices, deeper, more authoritative. The sound of someone taking control of the situation, followed by footsteps approaching the pantry, heavy and deliberate. Anna held her breath, every muscle in her body tense. The door handle rattled violently. "Open this door," a man's voice commanded, his tone brooking no argument. It wasn't a request. It carried the weight of someone who'd never been denied anything in his life. Anna's arms tightened around the girl. "Go away," I said, my voice trembling slightly. "Open it now." "Not until the police get here." Pause, heavy with unspoken threat. "The police won't help you. Open this door or I'll have my men tear it off the hinges. You have 10 seconds. The little girl stirred in Anna's arms, her body trembling even harder. And then, for the first time since Anna had met her, she spoke, her voice small but clear. "Papa." Anna's blood turned to ice. The lock clicked open before Anna could process what was happening. The pantry door swung wide, and fluorescent light flooded the small space, momentarily blinding her. When her vision cleared, she found herself staring at a wall of expensive Italian suits and cold, calculating eyes. But it was the man in the center who made her breath catch in her throat. He stood well over 6 feet tall, with jet black hair swept back from a face that could have been carved from marble. Sharp jawline, high cheekbones, and eyes so dark they seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. His charcoal suit probably cost more than Anna made in 6 months. Everything about him screamed power, from his commanding posture to the way every other man in the room deferred to him without question. Dante Moretti. She didn't know his name yet, but she knew what he was. The kind of man who appeared on the evening news when bodies turned up floating in the harbor. "Sophia," he said, his voice gentler now, but still carrying an edge that could cut glass. The little girl untangled herself from Anna's arms and ran to him, her small feet patting softly on the linoleum floor. Dante dropped to one knee, catching his daughter in an embrace that seemed almost desperate. His large hands cradled her head, checking her for injuries with the careful precision of someone who'd seen too much violence in his life. Anna remained frozen on the pantry floor, her back pressed against the cold metal shelving, watching this surreal scene unfold before her eyes. The feared Mafia boss holding his daughter like she was made of spun glass. "Are you hurt?" Dante asked Sophia, speaking in fluent Italian now. The girl shook her head against his chest. Then his eyes lifted to Anna, and the temperature in the room dropped 20 degrees. "You," he said, switching back to English. "Stand up." Anna's legs barely cooperated, but she managed to rise to her feet, her hands trembling uncontrollably. For armed men flanked Dante, their weapons now pointed directly at her. The restaurant beyond was in shambles. Overturned tables, shattered glass, and what looked like blood near the entrance. "Mr. Moretti," one of his men said, a stocky man with a scar running down his left cheek. "We need to move. Police are 3 minutes out." Dante ignored him, his focus entirely on Anna. "You took my daughter." I didn't take her. Those men were trying to kidnap her. I was protecting her." "Protecting?" His voice was dangerously soft. "From my own men." Anna's mind reeled. "Your men?" But she was terrified. "Those weren't my men." Dante stood, lifting Sophia effortlessly into his arms. "But you couldn't have known that." Which raises an interesting question. Why would a waitress risk her life for a stranger's child? Anna opened her mouth to respond, but no words came out. What could she possibly say that would make any sense to a man like him? "Papa, stop!" Sophia's voice rang out clearer than before. She squirmed in Dante's arms until he set her down on her feet, then positioned herself protectively between Anna and the guns. "She saved me." Dante's expression shifted, a flicker of surprise crossing his face, a face that seemed unused to showing emotion. "Sophia, move." "No." The little girl's chin lifted with a stubborn defiance that clearly ran in the family. "The bad men said they'd hurt me. She hid me. She kept me safe." One of Dante's men leaned in, whispering urgently in his ear. Anna caught fragments of the hushed conversation. "Santoro's crew found 2 bodies outside. Rivera gang colors." Understanding dawned on Dante's face, followed by a flash of pure rage that made Anna's survival instincts scream. He turned to his men, his voice a low growl. "Find them. Every last one. I want to know who planned this, who funded it, and who betrayed our location." "Yes, sir." The men dispersed quickly, leaving only the scarred man behind. Dante's attention returned to Anna, but his gaze had changed. The immediate threat of violence had receded, replaced by something more calculating. "What's your name?" "Anna Mitchell." "Anna Mitchell," he repeated, as if testing how the name felt on his tongue. "You work here?" "Yes." "Look, I just wanted to help." "Quiet." He pulled out his phone, tapping rapidly on the screen. "Marco Russo, manager of this establishment, says you've worked here for 2 years, single, mother in hospice care at Cedars-Sinai. Nursing degree unfinished, debt $47,000. Anna's stomach dropped. He'd pulled up her entire life in 30 seconds. "How?" "I know everything about everyone in my city." Dante slipped the phone back into his pocket. "The question is, why did no one know about you before? You're invisible, unremarkable." He studied her like she was a puzzle that didn't quite fit. "Yet tonight, you defied armed men and locked yourself in a pantry with my daughter. Any decent person would have done the same." "No," Dante said flatly, "they wouldn't have. Most people in this city know better than to get involved in my business." Sophia tugged on her father's sleeve, her small voice cutting through the tension. "She's nice, Papa. She asked if I was hungry. She has kind eyes." Something flickered in Dante's expression, a crack in the armor. He looked at his daughter, then back at Anna, seeming to wage some internal war within himself. Finally, he spoke, and his words changed everything. "You'll come with us." "What?" "No, I need to." "That wasn't a request, Miss Mitchell." Dante's voice turned to steel. My daughter trusts you. In my world, that's rarer than gold and far more valuable. Until I understand why, you stay where I can see you. He nodded to the scarred man, who stepped forward and gripped Anna's arm firmly, but not painfully. Papa's not mean, Sophia whispered, reaching for Anna's other hand. Please don't be scared. But as they led her through the destroyed restaurant toward the waiting black SUVs, past the carnage and the approaching sirens, Anna realized something terrifying. She had just entered a world where normal rules didn't apply, and there was no clear way out. The SUV's leather seats were far more comfortable than Anna's own bed, which somehow made everything even worse. She sat rigidly between two silent guards while Dante occupied the front passenger seat, his phone pressed to his ear as he issued clipped commands in rapid Italian. Sophia sat on the other side, her small hand still clutching Anna's. Through the tinted windows, Santa Monica Boulevard blurred past in a stream of neon lights. They were heading away from the hospital, away from her mother, away from everything that was familiar and safe. I need to make a call, Anna said, trying to keep her voice steady. My mom, she's expecting me. Dante didn't turn around. Your mother is sedated for the night. The hospital confirms she won't wake until morning. The blatant invasion of her privacy should have angered her, but fear overrode everything else. You can't just kidnap me. I can do anything I want, Miss Mitchell. His tone was matter-of-fact, not boastful, simply stating a truth. But kidnapping implies criminal intent. I'm ensuring my daughter's safety. There's a difference. By taking me against my will, by keeping close the one person my daughter has trusted in 3 years. He finally glanced back, his dark eyes meeting hers in the rearview mirror. Do you know how many nannies, therapists, and bodyguards have tried to reach her? 17. Sophia wouldn't speak to any of them. Yet tonight she spoke to you twice. Anna looked down at Sophia, who was staring out the window with that same distant expression she'd had in the restaurant. Maybe because I wasn't trying to reach her. I was just trying to help. Perhaps. Dante returned to his phone. We'll know soon enough. The SUV turned onto a private road that wound up into the Hollywood Hills. Massive gates swung open automatically, revealing a long driveway lined with security cameras and armed guards. The mansion beyond looked like something straight out of a movie. Modern architecture, floor-to-ceiling windows, and a panoramic view of Los Angeles that probably cost more than most people earned in a lifetime. They pulled into an underground garage filled with luxury vehicles of every make and model. Dante stepped out first, buttoning his suit jacket, a subtle sign that he was back in control of his domain. Bring her to my office. Sophia goes with Maria. No. Sophia's grip on Anna's hand tightened painfully. She stays with me. Dante's jaw clenched, the muscle ticking in his cheek. Sophia, please. Papa, please. The scarred guard, who Anna overheard someone call Luca, leaned toward Dante and whispered urgently in his ear. Boss Castellanos on line 1 says it's urgent, about the restaurant. Dante closed his eyes briefly, and for just a moment, Anna saw the weariness and exhaustion beneath his intimidating exterior. Fine. Maria, prepare the guest room next to Sophia's. Miss Mitchell stays on the family floor until further notice. An older woman with steel gray hair and a stern expression appeared, eyeing Anna with obvious suspicion. Sir, are you certain? Do I need to repeat myself? No, sir. Maria's expression could have curdled milk. As they entered the mansion, Anna's mind raced through possible escape scenarios. Call the police. But tell them what? That a mafia boss was holding her captive in his luxury compound? Find a phone. Contact someone. Anyone. Don't. Dante said, without even looking at her, as if he could read her thoughts. They had entered a massive foyer with gleaming marble floors and a grand staircase that curved like a work of art. Whatever you're planning, don't. Every door requires biometric access. Every window is alarmed. And even if you somehow manage to escape, my men would find you before you even reached the end of the driveway. So I'm a prisoner. You're a guest whose departure time hasn't been determined. He started up the stairs, and the guards nudged Anna to follow. There's a difference. Not from where I'm standing. Dante stopped mid-step and turned back to face her. For the first time, she saw something beyond cold calculation in his eyes. A flash of genuine frustration. "You think I wanted this complication? Tonight was supposed to be simple. Dinner with my daughter. Instead, the Riveras attempted an abduction. 2 of their men are dead on my territory. And now I have a witness who also happens to be the only person my traumatized daughter will communicate with." He descended 2 steps, bringing them eye to eye. "So no, Miss Mitchell, this isn't ideal for either of us." Sophia tugged on Anna's hand, her eyes filled with a childlike enthusiasm that belied the horrors she'd witnessed earlier that night. "Come see my room. I have paint supplies." The sudden shift from tense confrontation to childish excitement was jarring. Dante watched his daughter, and his expression softened so marginally that Anna almost missed it. "1 hour," he said to Sophia, his voice a little less hard. "Then sleep. No arguments." "Okay, Papa." He nodded to Maria. "Show Miss Mitchell to the guest accommodations. Get her anything she needs. Clothes, toiletries, whatever. And Luca, postcards on the family floor. No one enters without my authorization." As Dante strode toward a hallway lined with dark wood and expensive art, Luca touched Anna's shoulder. "This way." The guest room was larger than Anna's entire apartment. It boasted a king-sized bed, a private bathroom with a soaking tub, and a balcony overlooking an infinity pool that seemed to merge seamlessly with the twinkling city lights below. Under any other circumstances, it would have been paradise. "You have 30 minutes to settle in," Maria said, her tone brusque. "Then Sophia will expect you. Don't disappoint her. Mr. Moretti doesn't tolerate disappointment." After they left, Anna sank onto the plush bed, her hands finally free to tremble uncontrollably. The enormity of the situation crashed over her like a tidal wave. She was trapped in a Mafia compound, responsible for a traumatized child, with no clear path to freedom in sight. Her phone buzzed, still tucked safely in her apron pocket. A text message from Marco. "Police here. What do I tell them?" Anna stared at the message, her mind racing. One text could bring the authorities and potentially expose Dante's operations, but it could also endanger Sophia, who had already been through hell tonight. Her thumb hovered over the keyboard, poised to type a response. Then she heard it. Small footsteps approaching in the hallway, followed by Sophia's tentative voice. "Anna, can we paint now?" Anna closed her eyes, took a deep breath, deleted the message draft, and stood up. Some prisons, she realized with a sinking feeling, came with responsibilities you couldn't simply walk away from. Sophia's room looked like a princess lived there. If that princess was guarded by an army, that is. Pink walls covered with hand-painted clouds, shelves overflowing with untouched toys, and a canopy bed draped in flowing white silk. But the security camera discreetly mounted in the corner, and the panic button positioned by the door told a different story. A story of fear and constant vigilance. "I like watercolors best," Sophia said, pulling Anna toward a small table covered with art supplies. For a child who barely spoke, she seemed almost animated now. "Do you paint?" "Sometimes. My mom and I used to paint together." Anna sat down, watching Sophia arrange brushes with careful precision. Everything in its exact place, each movement deliberate and controlled. "She taught me that there's no wrong way to create something beautiful." Sophia paused, considering this profound statement. "Papa says there's a wrong way to do everything. That's why I have to be careful." The sadness in those words hit Anna hard, reminding her of the immense pressure this little girl was under. "What do you like to paint?" "Water. Oceans, lakes, places that go on forever." Sophia dipped her brush in blue paint, creating flowing strokes on the fresh paper. "Mama used to take me to the beach every Sunday. We'd collect shells and watch the waves," she said. "Water remembers everything. All the places it's been, all the people who've touched it. Your mama sounds wise. She's dead." Sophia's voice was flat, matter-of-fact, in the way that children often speak about devastating things they haven't fully processed. 2 years, 4 months, and 13 days ago. Galaxy. Papa says it was quick, that she didn't suffer. But I think he's lying to make me feel better. Anna's throat tightened with emotion. "I'm so sorry, sweetheart. Everyone says sorry, but sorry doesn't bring her back. Sophia added white to her blue, creating swirling foam. After Mama died, people stopped making sense. Papa stopped smiling. The house got more guards. And I didn't want to talk anymore. Words felt too hard. But you're talking now. Sophia looked up, her dark eyes, so much like her father's, searching Anna's face. You don't feel dangerous. Everyone else feels dangerous. Even the nice people. They want something from Papa, or they're scared of him, or they're pretending to care about me because it's their job. She returned to her painting, her small brow furrowed in concentration. You just wanted to help. That's different. Anna didn't know what to say to that. So, she picked up her own brush and began painting alongside Sophia. They worked in comfortable silence. The only sounds the whisper of bristles on paper and distant voices from elsewhere in the vast mansion. 20 minutes later, Maria appeared in the doorway, her presence filling the room with a sense of unease. Bedtime, Sophia. 5 more minutes. Now Maria's tone allowed no negotiation. She glanced at Anna with barely concealed disapproval. Mr. Moretti wants to see you in his office. Luca will escort you. Sophia grabbed Anna's hand, her small fingers digging into Anna's palm. Will you come back tomorrow? The hope in her voice was crushing. I don't know, sweetie. Please. Anna looked at Maria, who offered no help or encouragement, then at Luca, who stood silently waiting in the hallway. We'll see. Okay. That's what adults say when they mean no. No, that's what adults say when they honestly don't know. Anna squeezed Sophia's hand gently. But I promise I won't disappear without saying goodbye. Deal? Sophia considered this for a moment, then nodded slowly. Deal. Luca led Anna through a maze of corridors that seemed deliberately designed to disorient anyone unfamiliar with the layout. Left, right, downstairs, through a gallery lined with priceless paintings worth more than her lifetime earnings. The mansion wasn't just a home. It was a fortress, a carefully constructed and heavily guarded sanctuary. She counted at least 6 guards along their route, each armed, each watching her with expressionless faces, their eyes following her every move. Dante's office occupied the East Wing's corner, its floor-to-ceiling windows offering a breathtaking panoramic view of the city spread out below like a glittering kingdom. He sat behind a massive desk made of dark wood, studying multiple screens displaying live security feeds from various locations throughout the property. He didn't even look up when Anna entered the room. Sit. She remained standing, her hands clasped tightly in front of her. I want to go home. Not yet. Dante tapped a screen, pulling up footage from inside Sophia's room. Anna watched herself and Sophia painting together, their earlier conversation playing back in clear audio. Her stomach churned with a mixture of unease and indignation. You record your daughter's private moments? I record everything that happens in this house. It's what's kept her alive. He finally looked up at her, and the weariness in his face was even more pronounced now. The intimidating Mafia boss looked almost human for a brief moment. Do you know what selective mutism is, Miss Mitchell? I know it's a trauma response. Children who can speak but choose not to in certain situations. Sophia spoke freely until the night her mother died. Then silence. 3 years of specialists, therapists, medications, nothing worked. She talked to me occasionally in whispers when we were completely alone. But outside these walls, nothing. At school, restaurants, anywhere public, complete shutdown. He closed the screens, severing the connection. Tonight, she spoke in front of my men. She defended you to my face. In 3 hours, you've accomplished what 17 professionals couldn't. Maybe because I'm not trying to fix her. I'm just treating her like a person. Dante's laugh was bitter, devoid of humor. You think my money bought incompetence? I hired the best child psychologists in California. The best can't help if trust isn't there. Anna moved closer to the desk, her voice gaining strength. Sophia told me. She feels like she's walking on eggshells around everyone. And can you really blame her? Her mother met a violent end. And now she's stuck living in an armed compound where every adult is either a guard or terrified of her father. That compound is supposed to keep her safe, but it also keeps her completely isolated. Anna surprised even herself with how bold she was being. But something about this broken man and his deeply traumatized daughter stirred up a courage within her that she didn't even know existed. What Sophia needs is a normal life. She needs to feel like a kid again, not a prisoner in her own home. Dante stood up abruptly, the sound of his chair scraping against the marble floor echoing through the room. For a moment, Anna worried that she had pushed things too far. He walked around the desk, stopping just inches from her, his imposing presence overwhelming. "You know absolutely nothing about my world," he said in a low voice. "The people who want to hurt me will use her. The threats I receive every single day. The reason my wife died," his voice cracked slightly, "the reason I became this. Then tell me what I should do." The unspoken request hung heavy in the air between them. Outside, Los Angeles glittered like a scattering of diamonds, beautiful but also dangerous. Finally, Dante broke the silence. "You will stay for 1 week. Help Sophia adjust to the new therapist who will be arriving on Monday. After that, you are free to leave with enough money to cover your mother's treatments and forget that any of this ever happened." "And if I refuse?" she asked. His smile was cold as ice. "You won't, because you already care about her too much to walk away." He was right, and they both knew it. The next morning, Anna woke up to sunlight streaming through the floor-to-ceiling windows and the inviting smell of fresh coffee. For a disorienting moment, she forgot where she was. Then reality came crashing back. The restaurant, the gunfire, Sophia, Dante Moretti. A knock on the door. Maria entered without waiting for a response, carrying a tray. "Breakfast. Mr. Moretti expects you downstairs in 30 minutes. Clothes are in the closet, all in your size." Anna found designer jeans, comfortable tops, even undergarments, all perfectly fitted. The invasion of privacy should have bothered her more, but she was too exhausted to be truly outraged. She dressed quickly, her reflection in the mirror showing a woman who looked far calmer than she felt inside. Downstairs, the mansion was buzzing with activity. Guards rotated shifts, housekeepers moved silently through the rooms, and somewhere in the distance, she heard Sophia's laughter. It was a sound so unexpected that it made Anna pause mid-step. She followed the sound to a massive kitchen where Sophia sat at an island counter, still in her pajamas, watching Maria knead dough. Dante stood nearby, phone pressed to his ear, speaking rapidly in Italian. He traded last night's suit for dark slacks and a white button-down shirt, the sleeves rolled up to his elbows. Less intimidating, but no less commanding. "Anna," Sophia's face lit up. "Maria's making cinnamon rolls. Do you like cinnamon?" "Love it." Anna slid onto a stool beside her, hyper-aware of Dante's presence. He ended his call and pocketed the phone. "Miss Mitchell, I trust you slept well." "About as well as anyone can sleep when they're being held against their will. You have a talent for dramatization." He poured himself espresso from a machine that probably cost more than her car. "Sophia, finish your orange juice." "But I'm not thirsty." That wasn't a suggestion. Sophia's expression changed instantly, the brightness fading away. She reached for the glass with mechanical obedience, and Anna noticed the careful way she moved around her father, measuring every action. Not necessarily afraid, but constantly calculating. "Sophia," Anna said gently, "do you want to help Maria with the dough? Learning to bake is pretty cool." Sophia glanced at her father, seeking permission without saying a word. Dante nodded. "Wash your hands first." As Sophia scrambled down and ran to the sink, Dante studied Anna over his espresso. "You're observant. You're too controlling." His eyebrow arched slightly. "Excuse me? She's walking on eggshells around you. Every word, every movement, she's looking for approval or bracing for correction." Anna kept her voice low. "You can't command a traumatized child the same way you command your men. I'm keeping her safe. You're keeping her contained. There's a difference." Maria coughed pointedly, clearly uncomfortable with Anna's boldness. Even the guard stationed by the door shifted uneasily. No one spoke to Dante Moretti this way. Dante's jaw tightened, but before he could respond, Sophia returned, her hands dripping wet. "I'm ready." The tension broke. Maria showed Sophia how to fold the dough, and the little girl's concentration was absolute. Anna watched Dante watching his daughter, and she saw something flicker in his expression, a mixture of longing and helplessness. "She used to cook with her mother," he said quietly, more to himself than to Anna. "Every Sunday, they'd make a mess of the kitchen, and Isabella would laugh." He stopped abruptly, as if he'd revealed too much. "Tell me about her, your wife." Dante's expression hardened. "That's not your concern. If I'm helping Sophia, it is. She mentioned her mother yesterday, that she misses the beach, their Sundays together. My daughter talks to you too much, or maybe not enough to everyone else." Anna turned to face him fully. "You want me here because Sophia trusts me, but trust goes both ways. If you want me to help her, I need to understand what she's lost." For a long moment, Dante said nothing. Then, surprisingly, he gestured toward the door. "Walk with me." They left Sophia happily kneading dough with Maria and stepped onto a terrace overlooking manicured gardens. Guards were visible but distant, giving the illusion of privacy. "Isabella was a teacher," Dante began, his voice rough. "Third grade. We met at a charity event. She was volunteering. I was donating to look legitimate." A ghost of a smile appeared on his face. "She saw right through me, called me out on it, said if I really wanted to help, I should volunteer myself, not just throw money around." "Did you?" "I showed up the next week at her school, read to kids for 2 hours. Worst 2 hours of my life. They had no respect for authority, no fear." His expression softened. "But Isabella looked at me like I'd done something remarkable, like I could be more than what I was." Anna watched his profile, seeing the man beneath the monster. "She changed you," she tried. "Made me promise to eventually leave the business. Go legitimate. I was working on it slowly, carefully." Then he gripped the terrace railing, his knuckles white. "The Castellano family wanted to send a message. Sabotaged her brakes. The crash was supposed to look like an accident. And it did. To everyone except me. Did you retaliate? I burned their empire to the ground." His voice was flat, emotionless. "Every business, every connection, every family member involved. Took 6 months. I made sure they knew why they were dying." Anna should have been horrified. Instead, she felt a strange understanding. "And Sophia saw you transform into something darker. She saw me become exactly what Isabella feared I'd always been." Dante finally looked at Anna. "I can't be soft with Sophia. Softness gets you killed in my world. I need her strong, alert, obedient. She's 7 years old. She's a Moretti. That makes her a target from birth." They stood in silence. The morning sun warmed despite the cold conversation. Inside, Sophia's laughter drifted out. Maria must have let her taste the dough. "Listen to that," Anna said. "When's the last time you heard her laugh like that?" Dante's expression cracked just slightly. "I don't remember. That's the problem. You're so focused on keeping her alive, you've forgotten to let her live. And if living gets her killed, and if surviving without joy kills her anyway," the question hung between them unanswerable. The week developed a strange rhythm. Mornings with Sophia painting, reading, teaching her to make simple breakfast items under Maria's watchful eye. Afternoons when Dante's business demanded his attention, leaving Anna to navigate the mansion's peculiar ecosystem of guards, staff, and constant surveillance. Evenings were family dinners, a term Anna used loosely, given the armed men stationed throughout the dining room. But tonight felt different. Sophia had been animated all day, chattering about a story Anna had read her about a girl who befriended dragons. At dinner, she insisted on sitting between Anna and Dante, narrating her own dragon adventure with the kind of wild imagination that only 7-year-olds possess. And then the dragon said, "I'll only eat ice cream, never princesses." Sophia giggled, pushing her broccoli around her plate. "Eat your vegetables," Dante said automatically, not looking up from his phone. "But Papa, dragons don't eat broccoli." Sophia. The little girl's enthusiasm deflated instantly. She picked up her fork with mechanical compliance, and Anna felt the familiar frustration rising. 5 days in this house, and she'd watched Dante shut down his daughter's spark repeatedly, always in the name of discipline, structure, control. I think dragons would definitely eat broccoli, Anna interjected. How else would they get strong enough to fly? They need their vitamins. Sophia considered this seriously. Maybe they make broccoli ice cream. That sounds terrible. Anna laughed, and then Sophia laughed too. A genuine, bubbling sound that filled the cavernous dining room. Everyone froze. Dante's phone slipped slightly in his hand. Luca, standing by the door, looked startled. Even Maria paused in the act of refilling water glasses. The silence stretched, broken only by Sophia's fading giggles. Dante stared at his daughter like he'd never seen her before. His expression cycled through shock, disbelief, and something that looked painfully close to grief. What? Sophia asked, suddenly self-conscious. Why is everyone weird? You laughed, Principessa? Dante said softly, using the Italian endearment Anna had never heard him speak before. You haven't laughed at dinner since. He didn't finish, but he didn't need to. Since her mother died. The unspoken words hung heavy. Sophia looked at Anna uncertainly. Is that bad? No, sweetheart. It's perfect. Anna squeezed her hand under the table. Dante set down his phone, an unprecedented act during dinner. He cleared his throat, seemingly struggling with words. Tell me more about the dragon. Sophia's eyes widened. Really? Really? And for the next 20 minutes, Dante Moretti, a man who commanded criminal empires and inspired fear throughout Los Angeles, listened intently to his daughter's rambling story about dragons who ate ice cream and broccoli. He asked questions. He smiled. Once he even laughed, a rusty sound like something long and used, trying to remember its purpose. Anna watched this transformation, her chest tight with an emotion she couldn't quite name. After dinner, Sophia went willingly to bed, still chattering about dragons. Maria led her upstairs, leaving Anna and Dante alone in the dining room. Guards had retreated to their usual posts, granting them privacy. Dante stood at the window, staring out at the city lights. Thank you, he said finally. For what? For giving me back a piece of my daughter I thought was lost forever. Anna joined him at the window. She was never lost, just hiding from me. It wasn't a question. I see how she tenses when I enter a room, how she measures every word before speaking to me. I've become what I swore I'd never be. My father. The vulnerability in his voice surprised her. Tell me about him. Dante was quiet for so long. Anna thought he wouldn't answer. Then, Vito Moretti, old-school mafia, brutal, paranoid, ruled through fear. I was 7 when he first brought me to a business meeting, made me watch as he broke a man's fingers one by one for stealing from him. Said I needed to learn early that mercy was weakness. That's horrible. That was Tuesday. Dante's reflection in the window looked haunted. By the time I was 12, I'd witnessed 3 murders. By 15, I'd committed my first. He was training me, molding me into his successor, and I hated him for it. But you became like him anyway. No, I became worse. He turned to face her. My father had limits, twisted as they were. He never targeted families, never touched children. But after Isabella died, I burned everything. Women, children, anyone connected to the Castellanos paid the price. I became the monster he created, stripped of the conscience Isabella had tried to cultivate. Anna should have recoiled, should have seen the killer standing before her and felt fear. Instead, she saw a man drowning in guilt, desperately trying to protect the last good thing in his life while simultaneously pushing it away. You're not him, she said firmly. Your father wouldn't feel remorse, wouldn't question his methods, wouldn't stand here admitting his mistakes to someone who could use them against him. Can't you see? I'm doing to Sophia exactly what he did to me, hardening her, teaching her to trust no one, preparing her for a life of violence. Stop. Anna stepped closer. Yes, you're overprotective. Yes, you're too controlling, but you're also trying to keep her safe in a world that killed her mother. That's not the same as your father's cruelty. Dante studied her face, searching for something. Why aren't you afraid of me? Oh, I'm terrified, Anna admitted. But I'm more afraid of what happens to Sophia if someone doesn't help you learn to be her father again, not just her warden. The distance between them felt charged, dangerous, in a way that had nothing to do with violence. Dante raised his hand slowly, and Anna's breath caught, but he only touched her cheek briefly, almost reverently, before dropping his hand. You speak to me like Isabella did, he said quietly. Like I'm capable of redemption. Maybe you are. Or maybe I'm fooling us both. Before Anna could respond, Luca appeared in the doorway. Boss, we have a problem. The new therapist, Dr. Chun, she's been in an accident. She's alive, but won't be able to come on Monday, or possibly ever. Dante's expression shuddered immediately, the vulnerable man vanishing behind the cold mask. Details? Brake failure. Sound familiar? The implication hit like a physical blow. Anna watched Dante's hands curl into fists. They're coming for Sophia again, he said, his voice deadly calm. And now they know her weakness. His eyes cut to Anna, and she understood with chilling clarity. She wasn't just helping Sophia anymore. She'd become a target herself. The therapy center sat in a quiet Pasadena neighborhood, deliberately chosen for its anonymity. Dr. Rachel Kim, Sophia's new therapist after Dr. Chen's accident, specialized in childhood trauma and had agreed to see patients off-site when necessary. Today was Sophia's first session. I don't like this, Luca muttered from the driver's seat. The SUV idled outside a modest brick building, 2 additional security vehicles flanking them. Too exposed, too predictable. Sophia needs this, Anna said from the back seat. She held Sophia's hand, feeling the girl's anxiety through her trembling fingers. She can't live her entire life in a fortress. Better a fortress than a coffin. Luca shot back. Dante, seated in the front passenger seat, had been silent the entire drive. He'd barely slept in the 3 days since Dr. Chen's brake lines were cut. His men had swept this building twice, installed additional cameras, and positioned snipers on surrounding rooftops. Still, Anna could feel his tension radiating like heat. We go in, stay exactly 1 hour, and leave, Dante said finally. Anna accompanies Sophia into the session. Luca and Marco stay in the waiting room. I'll be monitoring from the vehicle. You're not coming in? Sophia's voice was small. Dante turned, his expression softening marginally. I'll be right outside, Principessa. But Dr. Kim says you'll talk more freely if I'm not in the room. Sophia nodded, but her grip on Anna's hand tightened. They entered the building, a converted house with soothing blue walls and children's artwork hung at eye level. Dr. Kim was a petite woman in her 40s with kind eyes and an immediately calming presence. She greeted Sophia at her level, not forcing eye contact, respecting her space. You must be Sophia. I'm Dr. Rachel. I heard you like painting. Sophia nodded, still partially hidden behind Anna. I have a whole art table set up. Want to see? The session room was perfect. Soft lighting, comfortable cushions, and art supplies arranged invitingly. Anna settled into a chair by the window while Dr. Kim and Sophia began with watercolors, building trust through shared creativity rather than forced conversation. Anna found herself relaxing slightly. Maybe this could work. Maybe Sophia could have some semblance of normalcy. Her phone buzzed. A text from Dante. Stay alert. Something feels wrong. Anna's pulse quickened. She scanned the room. 1 door, 1 window overlooking a small garden. Nothing seemed amiss, but Dante's instincts had kept him alive in a world designed to kill him. She texted back, "What's wrong?" "Not sure yet. Keep Sophia close." Dr. Kim was asking Sophia about her favorite colors, her voice gentle and unhurried. Sophia had relaxed enough to actually engage, pointing to different paint tubes and explaining why she preferred cerulean to navy blue. Then Anna heard it, a sound that didn't belong. A car door slamming too close, too sharp. She stood, moving toward Sophia, just as the window exploded inward. Glass shattered everywhere. Anna threw herself over Sophia, taking them both to the ground as gunfire erupted. Dr. Kim. The door burst open, Luca and Marco rushing in, weapons drawn, returning fire. Back door. Now! Luca shouted. Anna lifted Sophia, shielding her with her body, and ran. The little girl buried her face in Anna's neck, silent, shock rendering her mute again. They burst into a hallway as bullets punched through the walls behind them. Marco led them toward the rear exit, Luca covering their retreat. Outside, Anna could hear more gunfire, Dante's men engaging the attackers. How many? Where was Dante? They crashed through the back door into the garden. A high fence blocked their path. Marco was already climbing, reaching down. Hand her up! Anna lifted Sophia, who clung to Marco as he pulled her over. Then hands grabbed Anna from behind, rough, violent. She kicked backward, connecting with something solid. A grunt of pain. She twisted, seeing a man in dark clothes, his face covered, raising a pistol. The shot came from her left. The man dropped, a red bloom spreading across his chest. Dante emerged from the side of the building, his weapon steady, his face a mask of cold fury. "Move!" he barked. Anna scrambled over the fence, Dante right behind her. They emerged into an alley where one of the SUVs screeched to a halt. Doors flew open. Dante grabbed Sophia from Marco's arms, checking her frantically for injuries. "Anna, Papa protected me," Sophia whispered. Dante's eyes met Anna's over his daughter's head. Gratitude, and something deeper, flickering in their depths. Then he was all business again. "Get them in the vehicle." Luca, status? 3 attackers down. 2 escaped. Rivera colors again, boss. I want them found tonight. Dante climbed into the SUV, still holding Sophia. Anna followed, her hands shaking now that the adrenaline was fading. Blood dripped from her arm, glass cuts from the window. "You're hurt," Dante said sharply. "It's nothing. It's not nothing." He grabbed a first aid kit, his movements surprisingly gentle as he examined her arm. "This requires stitches. Later. Sophia needs you alive." Dante interrupted, his voice rough. He began cleaning the wound, and Anna hissed at the sting. His jaw clenched. "This is my fault. I should have never let you leave the house. I knew they were planning something. You can't keep her locked up forever. Watch me." His eyes burned with fierce protectiveness. Not just for Sophia, Anna realized, but for her too. "They know about you now. They saw you protect her at the restaurant and again today. You're not just a witness anymore. You're a target." The SUV raced through Pasadena, running red lights, taking random turns. Sophia had gone completely silent, curled against her father's chest. The light that had been slowly returning to her eyes over the past week had vanished, replaced by the haunted look Anna recognized from that first night. All their progress undone in minutes. "I'll kill every last one of them," Dante said quietly, more promise than threat. "The Riveras want a war. They'll get extinction." Anna looked at the man holding his traumatized daughter, his blood-stained hands gentle despite the violence in his voice, and realized something that should have terrified her, but somehow didn't. She was starting to understand him. And worse, she was starting to care. The mansion's war room was exactly what Anna expected. Large monitors displayed city maps, surveillance feeds, and photographs of men marked with red X's. Dante stood at the head of a mahogany table surrounded by his lieutenants, his sleeves rolled up, his presence commanding absolute attention. Anna watched from the doorway, Sophia asleep in her arms. The girl had finally crashed after 2 hours of silent trembling, exhausted by terror. Maria had tried to take her, but Sophia's grip on Anna's shirt was unbreakable, even in sleep. "The Riveras have 3 warehouses in the Port District," Marco was saying, pointing to locations on the map. "We hit all 3 simultaneously. Send a message they can't ignore." "No." The word came from Dante, sharp and final. "That's what they expect. They're baiting us into a public war." "So we do nothing?" Luca's scarred face twisted with frustration. "They've tried to take Sophia twice. They killed Dr. Chen. They? I said no public war. I didn't say we do nothing." Dante's voice was ice. "We find the leak first. Someone told them about the therapy appointment. Someone with access to our schedule. The room went silent. Anna saw the men exchange glances, suspicion blooming among supposed brothers. "Boss, you can't think one of us," Marco started. "I think someone close enough to know our movements is feeding information to our enemies. Find them. Start with everyone who knew about today." Dante's gaze swept the room. "And understand this, when we find the traitor, I want them alive. I have questions before they die." The meeting continued, but Anna had heard enough. She carried Sophia upstairs. The little girl's weight somehow both burden and anchor. In Sophia's room, she carefully laid her on the bed, smoothing dark curls from her forehead. "Don't go," Sophia whispered, eyes still closed. "I'm right here, sweetheart. They want to hurt me like they hurt Mama." Anna's chest tightened. "Your father won't let that happen. Papa can't stop everything. He couldn't stop them today." Sophia's eyes opened, glistening with tears. "Maybe I'm cursed. Maybe everyone who cares about me gets hurt." "Oh, Sophia." "No." Anna gathered her close. "You're not cursed. You're loved. And sometimes love means protecting people, even when it's scary, like you did today. Exactly like that." "Were you scared?" "Terrified," Anna admitted. "But you know what? Being scared and being brave aren't opposites. Being brave means doing the right thing even when you're scared." Sophia was quiet for a moment. "Anna, will you leave when the week is over?" The question pierced something deep in Anna's chest. The week, Dante's original timeline, had ended 2 days ago. She should have left. Should have returned to her normal life, her mother, her job. Instead, she'd stayed without questioning it. As if this strange, dangerous world had somehow become inevitable. "I don't know," Anna said honestly. "I want you to stay forever, Sophia. I know Papa's scary sometimes and the house has too many guns. But you make everything feel less scary. You make Papa less scary." Sophia yawned, fighting sleep. "He smiles now. Did you notice? When you're around, he almost looks like the Papa from before Mama died." Anna had noticed those moments when his armor was cracking. It usually happened when Sophia was around, but it was happening more and more frequently around Anna, too. The man hidden beneath the monster was still there, buried deep, but definitely not dead. Footsteps echoed in the hallway. Dante appeared in the doorway, his hardened expression softening as he saw Sophia almost asleep. He approached quietly, and Anna stood up to give him space. "Stay," he said so softly she almost missed it. He sat on the edge of the bed, taking Sophia's small hand in his. "I am sorry, Principa. I promised to keep you safe and I failed." "You didn't fail, Papa. Anna kept me safe. And you came." Sophia's eyes were drooping, almost closed. "You always come." Something shifted, broke in Dante's expression. He leaned down and pressed a tender kiss to her forehead. "Sleep now. I have men outside your door. Nothing will touch you tonight." Within minutes, Sophia's breathing evened out into the peaceful rhythm of sleep. Dante remained there, holding her hand, and Anna saw the truth reflected in his eyes. He'd never say it aloud. He was terrified of losing this child the way he'd lost her mother, Isabella. "Come," he finally said, standing up. "We need to talk." They walked to his office in silence, the tension thick between them. Once inside, Dante poured 2 glasses of whiskey, handing one to Anna. She took it, kneading the burn as it went down. "You should have run," he said, staring into his glass. "At the therapy center when the shooting started. Your first instinct should have been self-preservation. My first instinct was protecting Sophia. That's what I don't understand." He finally looked up at her, his eyes filled with confusion and something else, something vulnerable. "You barely knew her. You have your own life, your own mother to care for. Yet you keep putting yourself between her and bullets. Why?" Anna considered lying, deflecting the question. Instead, she spoke the truth. "Because when I look at her, I see a little girl who lost everything and is trying desperately to make sense of a world that's suddenly full of violence and fear. I can't fix that. But I can show her that not every adult will abandon her when things get dangerous." "You're talking about yourself, too," Dante said perceptively. Your father. Anna stiffened, her guard going up. How do you? I told you, I know everything about you. Father left when you were 8. Mother struggled with depression, eventually got sick. You sacrificed college, career, relationships, everything to care for her. He stepped closer, invading her space. You understand abandonment. That's why you won't abandon Sophia. And you understand violence, Anna countered. That's why you can't stop using it to solve problems. Violence is the only language my enemies understand. Maybe, but it's not the only language Sophia needs to hear. Anna set down her glass, the whiskey untouched. She told me tonight that she thinks she's cursed, that everyone who cares about her gets hurt. Is that the lesson you want her to learn? That love equals danger? Dante's jaw clenched, his features hardening. In my world, it does. Then change your world. You think it's that simple? No. I think it's the hardest thing you'll ever do. Harder than building your empire. Harder than avenging your wife. Anna moved closer, closing the distance between them. Close enough to see the gold flecks in his dark eyes. But the alternative is watching Sophia grow up believing she's poison to everyone around her. For a long moment, they stood there, the space between them charged with unspoken things. Fear, attraction, understanding, impossibility. I'm calling off the retaliation, Dante said, the words heavy with the weight of his decision. Finally, Anna's eyes widened, surprised by his sudden change of heart. What? You're right. More violence won't protect Sophia. It just perpetuates the cycle. He ran a hand through his hair, looking suddenly exhausted, the weight of the world pressing down on him. I'll find the traitor quietly, eliminate the immediate threat. But the big response Marco wants, the statement killings, I'm canceling them. Your men will think you're weak. Let them. His smile was bitter, laced with self-loathing. My daughter thinks I'm scary. That's worse than any enemy's opinion. Dante, stay. He said it again, this time meeting her eyes directly, his gaze unwavering. Not from weakness, not as an obligation. Stay because Sophia needs you. Because he hesitated, vulnerability flickering across his features, like a brief glimpse behind a carefully constructed facade. Because you make us remember what we used to be before the darkness consumed us. Anna should have said no. Should have run from this complicated, dangerous man and his broken world. Instead, she whispered, okay, and watched something like hope dawn in Dante Moretti's eyes. 3 days of relative peace. No attacks, no threats. Sophia began speaking more freely, even laughing at breakfast. Dante kept his promise. No retaliation raids, just quiet investigation, a subtle dance in the shadows. Anna almost let herself believe they'd found some fragile equilibrium, a delicate balance in a world teetering on the edge of chaos. Then, Friday morning shattered everything. Anna was helping Sophia with watercolors in the sunroom when raised voices echoed from Dante's office. She glanced at Sophia, whose small body had already tensed, brush frozen mid-stroke, the carefree moment dissolving into fear. It's okay, Anna soothed, trying to project a calm she didn't feel. Probably just business talk, but the shouting grew louder, more intense. Then a gunshot, single, sharp, unmistakable, cutting through the air like a knife. Sophia's paintbrush clattered to the floor, the sound amplified in the sudden silence. Anna's heart hammered against her ribs as she pulled the girl close, shielding her. Her mind raced through possibilities, scenarios flashing before her eyes. Tech. She reached for her phone just as Luca burst into the sunroom, his weapon drawn, his face grim. Stay here. Lock the door. Don't open it for anyone but me or the boss. What's happening? We found the rat. He was gone before Anna could ask more, disappearing as quickly as he'd appeared. Anna locked the door, pulling Sophia away from the windows, away from potential danger. They huddled in the corner, a small island of fear, while Sophia trembled silently. Minutes crawled past like hours, each second stretching into an eternity. Anna heard running footsteps, urgent voices, another gunshot muffled by distance and walls. Finally, a knock, hesitant but firm. Anna, it's me. Dante's voice. She opened the door to find him standing there, his presence imposing. A splash of blood stained his crisp white shirt, a stark contrast to the pristine fabric. His expression was dark as storm clouds, a storm brewing beneath the surface. Sophia, go with Maria now. The housekeeper appeared, reaching for Sophia, but the girl clung to Anna, her grip tight. No, I want to stay with Anna. Sophia. Dante's tone held a warning, a subtle shift in his voice. But then his shoulders slumped, the fight draining out of him for a moment. He knelt to his daughter's level, meeting her gaze. Principa, I need to talk to Anna alone. Adult things. Go with Maria, have lunch, and Anna will come find you after. Promise. Sophia looked between them, her eyes searching, questioning, filled with a mixture of fear and trust. Then she nodded reluctantly, her decision made. As Maria led her away, Sophia glanced back with worried eyes, her unspoken fears echoing in the silence. Once they were alone, Dante's carefully constructed mask cracked, revealing the raw emotion beneath. It was Rico. Anna knew Rico, Dante's head of security, a man who'd been with the family for 15 years, a trusted confidant. The one who I trusted with everything. My schedule, Sophia's movements, our security protocols. Dante's hands clenched into fists, his knuckles white with the force. The Riveras bought him 8 months ago. He's been feeding them information since before Isabella died. The implication hit Anna like a physical blow, knocking the wind out of her. The car accident that claimed Isabella's life was only possible because Rico told them Isabella's route that day. Her security detail was small because Rico said it was safe. Dante's voice cracked with barely controlled rage, the tremor betraying the depth of his pain. He killed my wife. He's been setting up my daughter for months, and I never suspected. I trusted him. How did you find out? Marco noticed inconsistencies in Rico's reports. Small things, times that didn't match, details that conflicted. We set a trap, fed him false information about Sophia's birthday party location. He passed it to his Rivera contact within hours, proving his betrayal beyond any doubt. Dante sank into a chair, the weight of his revelation settling heavily on him, making him look suddenly older, the years etched deeper into his face. I executed him myself. After he told me everything, his voice flat, devoid of emotion. Anna should have been horrified, should have recoiled from this man who just killed someone in his own home, a brutal act of vengeance. Instead, she felt a complicated nod of understanding, sympathy, and something darker, something she didn't want to acknowledge. Satisfaction that justice, however brutal, had been served. What did he tell you? The Riveras have been planning a major move for months. They want to eliminate me, take Sophia hostage, use her as leverage to absorb my territory. Rico was supposed to deliver her at the birthday party. Sophia's turning 8 next week. They had it all arranged. Dante looked up, his eyes hollow, the light extinguished. But now they know we're onto them. They'll accelerate their plans. What does that mean? It means the party is a trap for them now. We'll hold it as planned, but with every precaution. They'll expect security, but they won't expect what I'm planning. He stood, pacing like a caged predator, his energy restless and dangerous. This ends next week, one way or another. Anna's blood ran cold, a chill settling deep in her bones. You're using Sophia's birthday as bait. I'm using it as an endgame. The Riveras think they still have the advantage. Let them come. His expression was pure calculated violence, a mask of cold determination. I'll be ready. And Sophia, you're going to put her through more trauma on her birthday. She'll be in a secure room the entire time, surrounded by my best men. She won't see anything. But doubt flickered in his eyes, the father warring with the strategist, a battle raging within him. Anna stepped closer, forcing him to meet her gaze, to see the consequences of his actions. Listen to yourself. You're becoming exactly what you feared, your father. Using family as chess pieces. I'm protecting my family. By traumatizing your daughter further, by turning her birthday into a battlefield. Anna's voice rose, fueled by anger and frustration. She's 8 years old, Dante. She deserves one day where she feels normal, safe, loved. Not like bait in a trap. There's no normal in our world. Then create one. Anna grabbed his arms, shaking him slightly, trying to break through his hardened exterior. Cancel the party. Take Sophia somewhere safe. Far from here. Let your men handle the Riveras. Choose her childhood over your revenge. Dante pulled away, his face a mask of conflict, torn between his duty and his love for his daughter. You don't understand. If I don't end this now, they'll keep coming forever. Every birthday, every school day, every moment of her life will be shadowed by this threat. And if you do end it this way, she'll spend her 8th birthday knowing violence happened because of her party. She already thinks she's cursed. You'll confirm it. The words hung between them, sharp and undeniable. A stark truth neither of them could ignore. Dante walked to the window, staring out at the grounds where his men patrolled like soldiers, a silent vigil. When he spoke again, his voice was barely audible, a mere whisper of sound. What would you have me do? Be her father first, the Mafia boss second. Those two things can't be separated. Not in my life. They can't be separated. Anna agreed, moving beside him, offering a sense of shared understanding. But they can be prioritized differently. Right now, you're letting the boss make decisions the father will regret. Dante was silent for a long moment, wrestling with his inner demons. Then he spoke, his voice softer, more vulnerable. She wants a small party. Just you, me, maybe Maria. She told me this morning. No guards in the room, no cameras, just family. His voice cracked on the last word, revealing the depth of his longing. She called you family. Anna's throat tightened, overwhelmed by emotion. Dante, I'm calling it off. The trap, the confrontation. He turned to face her, decision crystallizing in his eyes. A new path forward. We'll have Sophia's party somewhere else. A safe house in Malibu, off any official records, small and private like she wants. And the Riveras, I'll handle them a different way. Quietly, permanently, but not on my daughter's birthday. He reached out, tucking a strand of hair behind Anna's ear. An intimately gentle gesture that stole her breath, a connection forming between them. You're right. Some things are more important than revenge. Before Anna could respond, her phone buzzed, breaking the spell. A text from an unknown number. The waitress thinks she can save them. How sweet. You'll watch them both die at the party. See you soon. Anna's hands shook as she showed Dante the message, the threat clear and present. His expression went deadly calm, the most dangerous kind of calm, a stillness before the storm. They know you're here. They've been watching. How is that possible? Your security. Rico wasn't working alone. Dante's voice was pure ice, sending shivers down her spine. There's another traitor in this house. And suddenly, the fragile safety Anna had begun to feel evaporated like morning mist, leaving her exposed and vulnerable. They weren't just being hunted from the outside. They were being hunted from within, betrayed by someone they trusted. The next 3 days were suffocating, the tension palpable in the air. Dante trusted no one except Luca and Marco, his closest confidants. Everyone else was suspect, potential enemies hidden in plain sight. Guards were rotated constantly, phones confiscated, movements monitored, every precaution taken to ensure their safety. The mansion transformed from a fortress into a prison, where even the walls had eyes, constantly watching, constantly judging. Anna barely left Sophia's side, her protective instincts heightened. The little girl sensed the tension, retreating into silence again. Her brief emergence back into the world stalled by fresh fear, her spirit dimmed by the surrounding darkness. Tuesday evening, Sophia's birthday arrived despite everything. A day of celebration overshadowed by danger and uncertainty. I don't want to party anymore, Sophia whispered as Anna helped her into a simple blue dress. A poignant moment of vulnerability. They were in the Malibu safe house, a modest beachfront property with minimal staff and maximum security. A temporary refuge from the storm. Can we just go home? This is nice though, isn't it? You can't hear the ocean. Anna forced brightness into her voice, trying to mask her own nerves, which were frayed and on edge. That text message haunted her, A constant reminder that someone knew their plans. Someone was still feeding information to the enemy. The ocean reminds me of Mama. Sophia's eyes filled with tears, the grief still raw and present. Everything reminds me of Mama. And now everything reminds me of bad men with guns. Anna pulled her close, her own eyes stinging with unshed tears, sharing in the little girl's pain. I know, sweetheart. I'm so sorry. Why do they want to hurt us? The question had no easy answer, no comforting explanation. Because power corrupts? Because violence breeds violence? Because Dante's world was built on blood and someone always wanted to spill more? Because some people make very bad choices, Anna said finally, choosing her words carefully. But your papa is making good choices now. He's trying to protect you by hiding, by choosing you over everything else. That's not hiding. That's love. A knock on the door broke the heavy atmosphere. Dante entered wearing dark slacks and a white shirt, a casual ensemble for him, almost normal, a glimpse of the man he could have been in a different life. His eyes softened seeing Sophia in her dress, her small figure a beacon of hope in the darkness. Beautiful Principa. He held out a small wrapped box. From your mama, she bought it before. I've been saving it for today. Sophia's hands trembled as she opened it, her anticipation building. Inside was a delicate silver bracelet with a small charm, a paintbrush, a symbol of her creativity and passion. Isabella must have known her daughter would love art, recognizing her innate talent. Mama knew me, Sophia whispered, her voice filled with wonder and gratitude. She knew you'd be exactly this wonderful. Dante fastened the bracelet around her wrist, his touch gentle and loving. And for a moment they were just father and daughter, connected by love and loss, a shared bond that transcended the violence surrounding them. Downstairs, Maria had prepared a small cake, chocolate with raspberry filling, Sophia's favorite, a small act of normalcy in an otherwise chaotic world. Luca and Marco stood guard outside, their presence a silent reassurance, while inside it was just the four of them, a makeshift family. Almost normal, almost a real family. They sang Happy Birthday, the familiar melody a comforting sound. Sophia's smile was tentative but genuine, a flicker of joy in her eyes. She blew out 8 candles and made a wish, a silent plea for peace and happiness. Silent, private, hopeful. Then the lights went out, plunging the room into darkness. Emergency backup should have kicked in immediately, restoring power, but it didn't. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. Down. Dante's command was instant, his voice sharp and urgent. He grabbed Sophia, pulling her behind the kitchen island, using his body as a shield. Anna dropped beside them, her instincts taking over as Luca and Marco burst through the door, weapons drawn, ready to defend them. Medical haste, multiple contacts. They cut the power. Glass shattered, the sound explosive and terrifying. The sliding door to the beach exploded inward, sending shards of glass flying through the air. Dark figures poured through, a wave of attackers descending upon them. Too many, too fast. Gunfire erupted, deafening in the confined space, the air thick with the smell of gunpowder. Dante returned fire, his movements precise and deadly, his body shielding Sophia from harm. Anna covered them both, making herself small, trying to protect them from the onslaught. She felt rather than saw Marco go down, his cry of pain swallowed by the chaos. Another casualty in this brutal war. Second floor. Dante shouted to Luca, his voice cutting through the noise. Get them out. Luca grabbed Anna's arm, pulling her toward the stairs, his grip firm and urgent. She clutched Sophia, who had gone completely rigid, her eyes wide and unseeing, shock shutting her down completely, rendering her unable to move or speak. They crashed up the stairs, the sounds of gunfire echoing behind them, a constant reminder of the danger they faced. Dante's gunfire continued, controlled, precise, buying them time, creating a temporary barrier. But how much time? Luca kicked open a bedroom door, scanning for threats, assessing the situation. Window, fire escape, potential escape routes. A figure stepped from the shadows, emerging from the darkness. Maria, holding a gun pointed directly at Anna, her face etched with pain and desperation. "I'm sorry," the older woman said, her voice cracking with emotion. "They have my grandson. They'll kill him if I don't." "Maria." "No." Anna positioned herself between the gun and Sophia, her body a shield. "Just give me the girl. You can go. They only want her. You know I can't do that." Maria's hands shook, tears streaming down her weathered face, the weight of her impossible choice crushing her. "Please, he's 6 years old. My daughter's only child. They'll kill him. And they'll kill Sophia," Anna said softly, trying to reason with her, to appeal to her humanity. "You know they will. She's seen too much, knows too much. They can't let her live. They promised. They're lying." Luca had his weapon trained on Maria now, ready to defend them. "Maria, put it down. We can save your grandson, but not like this." Footsteps thundered up the stairs, a growing threat approaching. Enemies or allies? Impossible to tell, the uncertainty adding to the tension. Maria's finger tightened on the trigger, her face a mask of anguish and desperation, torn between her loyalty and her love for her family. Then Sophia spoke, barely a whisper, but cutting through the chaos, a fragile voice amidst the storm. "Don't hurt Anna, please." Maria's face crumpled, her resolve breaking. The gun wavered, her control slipping. "I'm sorry, baby girl. I'm so sorry." The bedroom window shattered, the sound deafening. Anna reacted on pure instinct, throwing herself over Sophia as something whistled past, a projectile hurtling through the air. She felt the impact, not glass, something else, something more dangerous. Heat bloomed in her shoulder, spreading like fire, consuming her. She'd been shot. The world tilted, spinning out of control. Sounds became muffled, distant, as if she were underwater. She was dimly aware of Luca returning fire, of Maria screaming, of footsteps and shouting, a cacophony of violence swirling around her. But all that mattered was the small body beneath her, protected, safe, her mission accomplished. "Anna." Sophia's voice, terrified, filled with panic. "Anna, wake up." She wanted to respond, to reassure the little girl, but darkness was pulling her down like an undertow, a powerful force she couldn't resist. Strong hands lifted her, cradling her. Dante's voice, raw with something that might have been fear, a sound she'd never heard before. "Stay with me, Anna. Stay with me." She tried. God, she tried. But the darkness won, engulfing her completely. The last thing she heard was Sophia crying, her voice filled with despair. "Don't leave me. Please don't leave me, too." And Dante's voice breaking, filled with a mixture of pain and protectiveness. "I've got you. Both of you. I've got you." Then nothing. Anna woke to sterile white walls and the steady beep of monitors, the familiar sounds of a hospital. Her shoulders screamed with pain, a throbbing ache that radiated through her body. How long had she been unconscious? She turned her head slowly, cautiously. Dante sat in a chair beside her bed, still in his blood-stained clothes, a testament to the violence she'd endured. He was holding her hand, his grip firm, anchoring her to the living world. His eyes were closed, his face gaunt with exhaustion. But for the first time since Isabella died, tears tracked down his face, a silent display of grief and relief. The hospital room was too quiet, the silence broken only by the mechanical breathing of monitors and Dante's ragged exhales, each breath a struggle. Anna's throat felt like sandpaper, dry and scratchy. She tried to speak, but only a croak emerged, a sound barely audible. Dante's eyes snapped open, his senses immediately alert. For a heartbeat, he stared at her like she was a ghost, resurrected from the dead. Then his hand tightened around hers, his thumb brushing her knuckles with unexpected tenderness, a gesture of affection. "Don't try to talk," he said, his voice rough but gentle. "You've been out for 16 hours. The bullet went through your shoulder. Clean exit, no major damage, but you lost a lot of blood." Anna swallowed, managing a whisper. "Sophia. Safe. Unharmed. Asking for you. Every hour." Her concern unwavering. Something flickered in his expression, a complex mix of emotions. Guilt, gratitude, something deeper. something akin to awe. You took a bullet meant for her. The sniper was aiming for her head. You shifted at the last second. And his voice broke, the emotion overwhelming him. He looked away, jaw clenched, unable to face her. You almost died protecting my daughter. Is she? Is she okay? Emotionally, Dante's laugh was bitter, devoid of humor. She watched another person she loves get shot. No, she's not okay. But she's alive because of you. He stood abruptly, pacing to the window, restless and unable to stay still. Dawn light painted Los Angeles in shades of gold and pink, a beautiful scene unfolding oblivious to the violence it contained. Maria's grandson is safe. We extracted him from the Rivera compound 2 hours after the attack. Maria's under guard. She'll face consequences but not death. She was trying to save family. I understand that now. The Riveras, however, were not so fortunate. His voice turned cold, devoid of any warmth or compassion. Destroyed. Every warehouse, every business, every safe house burned to the ground. I gave them one chance to surrender, to atone for their actions. Sophia's would-be killers. They refused. So I took everything. He turned back, and Anna saw the monster he'd once been. The ruthless enforcer, efficient, merciless, complete. There are no more Riveras in Los Angeles. They're extinct. Anna should have been horrified by the scale of his vengeance, by the sheer brutality of his actions. Instead, she felt only exhaustion and a grim satisfaction that the threat was gone, eliminated once and for all. How many? Don't ask questions you don't want answered. They sat in heavy silence, the unspoken words hanging in the air between them. Finally, Anna broke the silence, her voice soft but determined. Can I see her? Sophia, the doctors want you to rest another day. Dante, please. He studied her face, searching for something, then nodded slowly, relenting. I'll bring her, but only for a few minutes. He left, and Anna closed her eyes, processing everything that had happened, the events unfolding like a nightmare. She'd crossed a line she couldn't uncross, a point of no return. She'd killed no one herself, but she'd become complicit in Dante's world, entangled in his web of violence and power. She'd chosen a side, and somehow, she didn't regret it. 10 minutes later, the door opened softly, a sliver of light cutting through the dimness. Sophia peered around the frame, her dark eyes huge and uncertain, filled with a mixture of hope and fear. She wore Anna's favorite yellow sweater, a tangible reminder of their bond, something to feel close, a comfort in the face of uncertainty. Anna realized with a pang, a wave of affection washing over her. Sophia rushed to the bedside, stopping just short of touching her, her movements hesitant. Does it hurt? A little, but I'm okay. You're not okay. You got shot because of me? Sophia's voice was small, broken, filled with guilt and remorse. Everyone gets hurt because of me. No. Anna reached out with her good arm, her touch gentle and reassuring, taking Sophia's hand. I got hurt because bad people made bad choices. Not because of you. Never because of you. But if I wasn't there, if you weren't there, my life would be so much emptier. Sophia, you've given me something I didn't know I was missing. Purpose, connection, love. Anna squeezed her hand gently, conveying her sincerity. You're not a curse. You're a gift. Tears streamed down Sophia's face, washing away the fear and uncertainty. I thought you were dead. I thought everyone I love dies. I'm right here, and I'm not going anywhere. Promise. Anna glanced at Dante, who stood in the doorway, watching them with an expression she couldn't quite read, a mixture of emotions hidden beneath his stoic facade. I promise. Sophia climbed carefully onto the bed, curling against Anna's uninjured side, seeking comfort and protection. Within minutes, exhausted by days of fear and trauma, she fell asleep, her body finally relaxing. Anna stroked her hair, feeling the little girl's breathing slow and steady, a sign of peace. Dante approached, looking down at them, his gaze filled with a complex mixture of emotions. She hasn't slept since the attack. Nightmares every time she closed her eyes. She feels safe now with you. Not with me. Pain laced his words, a raw admission of his own shortcomings. My own daughter doesn't feel safe with me. That's not true. She needs different things from each of us. You're her protector, her warrior. I'm her. Anna struggled for words, unsure how to articulate the complex dynamic between them. Her mother figure, Dante finished quietly, his voice tinged with a hint of sadness. I see how she looks at you, how she trusts you, as how she used to look at Isabella. I'm not trying to replace. I know, but maybe. He sat in the chair, elbows on knees, hands clasped, his posture reflecting his internal conflict. Maybe that's what she needs, what we both need. Someone who reminds us that life is more than survival and revenge. A reminder of the beauty and goodness that still exists in the world. Anna watched him carefully, sensing a shift in his perspective. A turning point. What are you saying? I'm saying I've spent 2 years teaching Sophia that the world is dangerous, that trust gets you killed, that love is a weakness to be exploited, and then you walked into our lives and proved every lesson wrong. He looked up, vulnerability naked in his eyes, a rare and genuine display of emotion. You've changed everything, Anna. You've changed her. You've changed me. Dante, I'm leaving the business. The words seemed to cost him, a difficult admission of his own past. Not tomorrow, these things take time planning, but I'm getting out. I called a meeting this morning with my remaining lieutenants. Told them I'm transitioning to legitimate operations over the next year, selling off the illegal enterprises, investing in legal businesses. Some of them will follow, some won't, but it's happening. Anna's breath caught, surprised by the suddenness and scale of his decision. Why? Because last night, watching you bleed on my daughter's birthday, I realized Isabella was right. This life destroys everything good it touches, and I refuse to let it destroy Sophia or you. He reached out carefully, taking Anna's free hand, his touch tentative and hopeful. I don't know what happens next. I don't know if you'll stay after this, after everything you've seen. But I'm done choosing power over people who matter. Your men will think you're weak. Let them. My daughter thinks I'm scary. That's the only opinion that matters anymore. His thumb traced circles on her palm, a small, intimate gesture. Well, that and yours. Mean, do you think I'm irredeemable, Anna? Too stained by violence to ever be anything else? She studied him, her gaze unwavering, taking in every detail of his face. This complicated, damaged man who'd ordered executions and burned empires, but who also read bedtime stories and cried when people he loved got hurt, a man of contradictions. Monster and man inextricably tangled, forever bound together. I think, she said slowly, that redemption isn't about erasing the past. It's about making different choices going forward. And you're choosing Sophia. That's a start. Is it enough for her? Yes. For you? Anna paused, carefully considering her words. That depends on whether you can forgive yourself. That's the hardest part of all. Dante was silent for a long moment, his gaze drifting off into the distance. Then he said, Isabella used to say that too, that I was always hardest on myself. A faint smile touched his lips. You really do sound like her sometimes. Is that okay? It's more than okay. He struggled, unaccustomed to expressing his emotions. It's like having a piece of her back. The piece that believed I could be better. Sophia stirred in her sleep, murmuring something unintelligible. Both adults froze, but she settled again, her small hand clutching Anna's hospital gown. She asked me this morning if you were going to be her new mama. Dante said quietly. I told her that wasn't a decision I could make. That you had your own life, your own family to care for. Anna's chest tightened with emotion. What did she say? She said, maybe you could have 2 families. The one you were born into and the one you choose. His eyes met hers, dark and searching. Is that possible, Anna? Can you choose us? Not out of obligation or because Sophia's attached, but because you want this broken, complicated, dangerous thing as it is. The question hung in the air between them, pregnant with futures and possibilities. Anna thought of her mother, now stable but still needing constant care. She thought of her old life, paycheck to paycheck, lonely, safe, but ultimately hollow. Then she looked at Sophia sleeping peacefully for the first time in days and at Dante, whose protective walls were finally, slowly crumbling. "I need time," she said honestly. "This is all so fast, so intense. I need to process everything, talk to my mother, figure out what this would actually look like in reality." Disappointment flickered across Dante's face, but he nodded in understanding. "Of course. Take all the time you need. But know this, whatever you decide, Sophia's birthday trust fund is yours. Your mother's medical bills are covered. You've earned that and more." "I didn't do this for money," Anna stated. "I know. That's exactly why you deserve it." A nurse entered, checking Anna's vitals and gently suggesting that Sophia be moved so Anna could get some proper rest. But when they tried to lift the sleeping girl, she whimpered and clung tighter to Anna. "Let her stay," Anna requested. "Just a little longer." The nurse frowned slightly but relented. After she left, Dante settled back into his chair, clearly intending to keep watch throughout the night. "You should sleep too," Anna urged him. "You look exhausted." "I haven't slept since you were shot. Every time I close my eyes, I see." He stopped abruptly, shaking his head to clear the disturbing images. "I am staying." So they sat in the quiet pre-dawn hours. This strange, almost family, bound together by bullets and choices and something that might, given enough time and healing, become love. 6 months later, the restaurant on the Santa Monica Pier gleamed with fresh paint and sparkling new windows. Marino's had been rebuilt from the ashes of that violent night. Anna stood outside, breathing in the salty air and the tempting aroma of garlic butter, her hand resting gently on Sophia's shoulder. "It looks different," Sophia observed. She'd grown taller, her voice was stronger, and her steps were more confident. Therapy with Dr. Kim, now conducted in a safe office with proper security measures, was slowly healing wounds that bullets couldn't inflict. "But it's the same too. That's called resilience." Anna smiled. "When something broken becomes beautiful again, that's called resilience. Like us. Exactly like us. They'd taken things slow, painstakingly, deliberately slow." Anna had moved into a guest house on Dante's property, maintaining some independence while still staying close to them both. She'd enrolled in online nursing courses, diligently working towards finishing her degree. Her mother had been moved to a much better assisted living facility, her treatment fully covered, and Anna visited her every weekend when her health permitted. And slowly, carefully, Anna had allowed herself to become part of something she'd long since stopped believing in. A family. "Papa's late," Sophia said, checking the smartwatch that had replaced the ankle monitor she didn't even know she'd once worn. He said 6 o'clock. "Business runs long sometimes," Anna replied. "The legal kind takes even more meetings than the illegal kind, apparently." Anna checked her own phone. A text message from Dante. "Traffic. 10 minutes. Order without me." They entered the bustling restaurant to a warm round of applause. Marco, who'd been promoted to manager after proving his unwavering loyalty, greeted them with a broad, genuine smile. "Our heroes return. Your table's ready." The same corner booth. The corner booth where everything had begun. Where Sophia had sat alone and terrified. Where Anna had made a split-second decision that had irrevocably changed 3 lives forever. They slid into the booth, Sophia naturally taking the inside spot. Old habits died hard. The restaurant buzzed with Friday evening energy, families and couples. The cheerful sound of laughter and clinking glasses. Normal, beautifully, wonderfully normal. "Can I get the lobster ravioli?" Sophia asked, studying the menu with intense seriousness. "You can get whatever you want, sweetheart," Anna replied indulgently. "Even dessert first." "Don't push your luck." Sophia giggled, a sound that still made Anna's heart ache with a bittersweet joy. 6 months ago, that carefree laugh had been as rare as diamonds. Now it came freely, often, as if Sophia was determined to make up for lost time. The restaurant door opened, and Dante walked in. He changed, too. He still commanded attention whenever he entered a room, but the harshness had softened considerably. He was wearing jeans and a comfortable navy sweater. No intimidating bodyguards shadowing his every step. Just a father meeting his family for dinner. Their family. He spotted them across the crowded room and smiled. A genuine, unguarded expression. Something he'd been consciously practicing. Anna teased him gently, reveling in his slow but steady return to being human. "Papa!" Sophia waved enthusiastically. Dante slid into the booth beside Anna, his hand instinctively finding hers under the table. "Sorry, the real estate deal took longer than expected. Apparently, legitimate businessmen actually read contracts thoroughly. Revolutionary concept, I know. How's the transition going?" Anna inquired. "Slowly, but it's definitely happening. We closed 3 more legal acquisitions this week alone: restaurants, a small hotel chain, a logistics company. All completely clean." He squeezed her hand reassuringly. "Luca thinks I've completely lost my mind. Marcos says I'm an inspiration. The jury is still out on that one." "I think you're brave," Sophia said matter-of-factly. "Mrs. Chun says brave people do hard things even when they're scared." "Dr. Kim, honey, it's Dr. Kim," Anna corrected gently. "Mrs. Chun is someone else entirely." "Right, Dr. Kim." Sophia took a breadstick, carefully breaking it into exactly 4 pieces. A small, personal ritual that helped soothe her lingering anxiety. "She also says I'm doing really well. That my progress is remarkable." She pronounced the word carefully, clearly proud of her growing vocabulary. "You are remarkable," Dante said, his voice thick with undisguised emotion. He no longer felt the need to hide his feelings, not from them. They ordered dinner, the conversation flowing easily. Sophia chattered excitedly about her art class. She'd started attending a small private school with extensive security measures that didn't look like security measures at all. She had friends now, 2 girls she painted with every Thursday afternoon. Normal childhood things that had seemed utterly impossible just 6 short months ago. Throughout dinner, Anna watched Dante interact with Sophia, be patient when she struggled with her food, genuinely interested in her stories, completely present in a way he hadn't been before. The cold, ruthless king had finally thawed, revealing the loving father who'd been buried beneath layers of grief and rage. After dinner, Marco brought out a special dessert, tiramisu with a single flickering candle. "What's this for?" Anna asked, surprised. "Your 6-month anniversary?" Marco grinned mischievously. 6 months since the night that changed everything. We figured it deserved a little celebrating. Sophia clapped her hands together with delight. "Make a wish, Anna." Anna looked at the 2 faces watching her with such intense hope and affection. Sophia's bright with anticipation, Dante's soft with something much deeper and more profound. She thought about all the wishes she'd made over the years, wishes for her mother's health, for financial stability, for purpose and meaning in a life that had often felt small and constrained. She'd gotten all of that and so much more. She'd gotten a spirited little girl who called her Anna Mama when she forgot to be careful. A man who looked at her as if she'd saved his very soul, not just his daughter. A second chance at the kind of loving family she'd long ago given up on ever having. She closed her eyes, took a deep breath, and blew out the candle. "What did you wish for?" Sophia asked eagerly. "Can't tell," Anna said with a grin. "Or it won't come true. That's such a silly rule." "Maybe, but some rules are worth following," Anna replied, smiling. After dessert, they strolled along the pier, Sophia running ahead to watch the various street performers. Dante pulled Anna close, his arm gently encircling her waist. "I have something for you," he said quietly, pulling a small velvet box from his pocket. Anna's heart skipped a beat. "Dante, it's not what you think. Not yet, anyway. We agreed to take things slow, and I'm determined to keep that promise." He opened the box, revealing a simple silver ring adorned with 2 small, delicate stones. One purple, one green. Sophia's birthstone and hers. "She helped me pick it out," he added softly. Anna's throat tightened with emotion. "It's beautiful. It's a promise," he explained, "that you're family, that we're yours and you're ours, regardless of what the future holds." He took her hand, his thumb gently brushing the faint, healing scar on her palm from that terrifying night at the safe house. "Isabella's initials are engraved inside, too," Sophia insisted. "She said her mama would want you to know you have her blessing." Tears streamed down Anna's cheeks. Dante carefully slipped the ring onto her right hand. Not a formal proposal, but something equally, if not more, significant. A heartfelt covenant. "Thank you," Anna whispered, her voice choked with emotion, "for letting me in, for changing, for choosing us over everything else." "You saved my daughter's life twice," he countered softly. "You saved mine more times than I can count." He pressed his forehead gently against hers. "Thank you for not running, for staying when anyone sane would have left, for reminding me what it truly means to be human." Sophia ran back to them, breathless and grinning. "There's a lady painting faces. Can I get a butterfly?" "Absolutely," Anna and Dante said in perfect unison. They walked hand in hand to the face painting station, Sophia chattering excitedly about the colors she wanted for her butterfly. Above them, the evening sky painted itself in breathtaking shades of purples and oranges. Behind them, the rebuilt restaurant glowed with a warm, inviting light. Ahead, the future stretched uncertain but full of endless possibility. Anna looked down at the ring on her finger, at the little girl getting a beautiful butterfly painted on her cheek, at the man who'd once been Los Angeles's most feared criminal and was now just a father learning how to smile again. This wasn't the life she'd ever imagined for herself. It was messy and complicated, still shadowed by past violence, still in the process of healing from fresh wounds. But it was undeniably real. It was love. It was family. Not the family she was born into, but the one she'd chosen, and the one that had so powerfully chosen her back. As they left the pier, Sophia grabbed both of their hands, swinging playfully between them. "Anna, Mama," she started, then caught herself, a touch of embarrassment coloring her cheeks. "It's okay," Anna said, her heart overflowing. "You can call me whatever feels right to you." Sophia beamed. "Then Anna, Mama, because that's exactly what you are." Dante's hand tightened reassuringly around Anna's. In his eyes, she saw a depth of gratitude, overwhelming love, and something that looked a lot like hard-earned, precious peace. They walked off into the evening together, three people who'd found each other amidst violence and chaos, and had bravely chosen to build something beautiful from the rubble. A former Mafia boss learning to be just a father, a traumatized little girl learning to trust and love again, and a waitress who became a protector, a healer, a mother. Not a perfect family, certainly, but a real one. And that, Anna thought with a grateful sigh, was more than enough. The end.